It began on a quiet Thursday. The sky over the Pacific Ocean was clear. Birds flew without worry. Children played in parks. Planes moved across the sky. Everything felt normal. But that peace was about to end. At 2:03 p.m. Eastern Time, radar stations in Alaska picked up something strange. A giant object had entered Earth's atmosphere, slow, smooth, and silent. It wasn't a meteor. It wasn't a plane. It was something else. Then there was a second object, and a third. In just 11 minutes, 7 massive ships appeared above the clouds, each one bigger than a football stadium. They didn't move fast. They didn't hide. They just floated, watching. The world noticed quickly. News cameras zoomed in. Social media exploded. People in Los Angeles, Tokyo, Paris, and New York looked up in fear. Shadows from the ships blocked out the sun. Panic began to grow. At first, governments thought it might be a prank or a test. Fighter jets were sent to investigate. But as they approached, something terrifying happened. The jets shut down midair. Their controls froze. The screens went black. One by one, they dropped from the sky like stones. In just a few hours, Earth's satellites began to fail. GPS stopped working. Communication signals broke down. Planes had to land. Phones stopped ringing. The modern world started to shut down. People rushed to stores. Traffic filled every road. Children cried. Soldiers were called to the streets, but no one knew what to do. No one knew who or what had arrived. Then, at 6:00 p.m. sharp, every screen on Earth, TVs, phones, billboards, even smart fridges, turned black. A deep voice echoed everywhere. No language, no words, just a slow, ticking sound. Tick, tick, tick. The numbers appeared on the screens. 24:00. A countdown. The leaders of the world held emergency meetings. The United Nations gathered in New York, but the video call dropped after 4 minutes. The ships had blocked everything. In Washington, D.C., General Marcus Rayner stood in the Pentagon's war room, watching the countdown. "Sir," a young officer said, "no signal is getting in or out. We're cut off." Marcus stared at the screen. He had been through wars, seen battles, but nothing like this. "What do they want?" someone whispered. Nobody answered. The countdown continued, 23:18:42. Meanwhile, in a small lab in Colorado, Dr. Elena Voss, a language expert and AI specialist, was working with her team to decode a strange signal. The signal came from one of the ships. It wasn't sound. It wasn't language. It was data. She ran it through a translator. Her eyes widened. "It's not a message," she whispered. "It's a scan." "A scan?" her assistant asked. "They're mapping us," Elena said. "Our systems, our weapons, our defenses, everything." Back in California, people tried to leave the cities, but the skies weren't safe. As night fell, the ships lit up like glowing moons. From below, people saw lights moving along their surfaces, patterns like circuitry. Some thought it was beautiful. Others called it a warning. In New York, a religious group knelt in the streets, praying. In Texas, armed citizens gathered to protect their towns. In Los Angeles, the power grid collapsed completely. At 10:00 p.m., something new happened. All the screens lit up again. This time there was a message. A voice, cold and heavy, filled every device. It spoke in perfect English, but without emotion. "You are a primitive species. You have reached a line you should not have crossed. Your war machines have infected the stars. We come not for peace. We come for correction. You have 24 hours to surrender, refuse, and be removed." The voice stopped. The countdown returned. 12:00. The President of the United States met with his top generals underground. Some wanted to fight. Some wanted to talk. But no one knew how to contact the ships. No language worked. No signal got through. "We need a plan," the President said. Not panic, not fear, a plan. But time was slipping fast. At 1:30 a.m. in a desert outside Nevada, a hidden military base activated something secret, something not even the president knew about. A rogue general, angry and afraid, had made his own choice. He launched 2 nuclear missiles directly at the closest ship, the one floating above the Pacific Ocean. The world watched the missile trails streak through the sky. For a second, people cheered. Then, nothing. The missiles vanished mid-air, like they hit a wall. No explosion, no impact. And then the ship responded. A bright light shined down from the sky. Not fire, not heat, just light. It hit the city of San Diego and erased it. Not destroyed, erased. Buildings, people, cars, gone, like they never existed. The world went silent. Back in Colorado, Dr. Elena Voss stared at the signal again. Her computer flashed a warning. "Ma'am," her assistant said, "I think the countdown is speeding up." Elena's heart stopped. She looked at the numbers. 6:45:03. "Something changed," she said. "They're not waiting anymore." Somewhere in space, far beyond the moon, other ships were watching. Hidden. Recording. Earth had been marked. Not as a planet to study. Not as a friend. But as a threat. The world was still shaking from the loss of San Diego. People watched the footage over and over. There was no fire. No sound. Just light. And then, nothing. The city was gone. Over 2 million people vanished in 1 second. Panic turned into terror. Governments went silent. Streets were empty. Planes stopped flying. Banks shut down. Every country waited, hoping someone, anyone, would stop the countdown. But no one could. The alien ships floated above Earth like giants watching ants. No movement. No sound. Just the soft hum of unknown energy filling the air. In Washington, D.C., President Keller stood in the underground war room. His face was pale. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed fear. "Do we know who launched the nukes?" he asked. "Yes, sir," said General Ayers. "It was General Huxley from Site Echo 7. He acted alone." "Was he trying to save us?" the president asked. "Or start a war?" No one answered. Suddenly, a young tech officer ran into the room. "Sir," she shouted, "something's happening near the Arctic Circle. One of the ships is falling." At the same time, hundreds of miles away, in a frozen wasteland, fire lit up the night sky. One alien ship, the second largest, began to shake. A crack opened along its side. Sparks burst out. It tilted, dropped lower, and then began to crash. Slowly, controlled, like it didn't want to break. It hit the ice hard, shaking the ground for miles. Then, silence. The military moved fast. A team of 20 U.S. soldiers, the best of the best, was flown in by stealth helicopters. Their leader, Commander Reese Walker, had fought in every major war in the last 15 years. When his boots hit the ice, he looked at the smoking wreck and said only 2 words, "Let's move." As the soldiers approached the alien ship, they saw strange things. The metal wasn't like any metal they knew. It pulsed. It breathed, like it was alive. The door to the ship was open, broken. Sparks flew from inside. Walker and his team entered. They passed long, dark hallways. No signs, no lights, only the soft hum of energy. Then they found the first body. It was alien, tall, thin, with long arms and no mouth. Its skin was part metal, part muscle. Its eyes were closed. It wasn't wearing a suit. It was the suit. "God," one soldier whispered. "It's not a machine. It's not a creature. It's both." Deeper inside, they found a chamber. Inside it, strange pods, like small tanks filled with blue liquid. And in one of them, a child. But not human. It was alien, small, scared, and hurt. It had glowing veins under its skin. Its eyes were wide and full of fear. It looked at the soldiers and didn't scream. It reached out. Back in Washington, Dr. Elena Voss was brought in to speak with the alien child. She used sound symbols and color patterns. At first, nothing worked. Then finally, the child responded. It didn't speak with words. It used images, emotions, fear, pain, loneliness, and one powerful thought. Hive. One mind. No choice. I escaped. Elena looked at the generals and said, "It's a refugee. It wasn't attacking us. It was trying to run." Meanwhile, scientists at Site Echo 7 were studying the virus General Huxley had uploaded before the nukes launched. They found something shocking. The virus had infected the alien systems. Only a little, but enough. Enough to break the connection between that ship and the hive. Enough to make it crash. Enough to show that the aliens were not gods. They had weaknesses. Back in the Arctic crash site, Walker's team explored more of the ship. They found a room with hundreds of screens, alien language flashing across them. One screen showed Earth, marked with strange symbols. Another screen showed something else. Not Earth. Other planets. Other species. All marked the same way. And all of them gone. Walker stared at the screen and whispered, "We're next." In a hidden bunker, President Keller looked at the data. "They didn't come to talk," he said. "They came to erase." "What do we do?" his advisor asked. Keller looked up. His voice was cold and clear. "We don't beg. We fight." That night, the countdown on every screen paused at 4:00. Everyone waited. The alien voice returned. "You fired first. One of our vessels is lost. You have chosen violence. This is your final warning. Prepare for removal." Then the countdown began again. Faster. Somewhere in space, far beyond the solar system, a signal was sent. It was short, but powerful. One alien word broadcast across the stars. Earth. Hostile. Cleansing protocol. Begin. The crashed alien ship sat deep in the Arctic ice, half buried, half broken. From above, it looked silent, but inside something was still alive. Commander Reese Walker and his team moved carefully through the dark hallways. Their boots echoed on the strange metal floor. The air was cold and thick with a soft blue mist. Their flashlights barely reached the walls. Everything around them felt wrong. "This place gives me the creeps," whispered Corporal Diaz. "No talking," Walker said. "Stay sharp." The team had one goal: find anything useful. Weapons, tech, information, and get out alive. In a sealed chamber, they found rows of glowing orbs floating in the air. Each orb showed moving images, cities, skies, alien planets. Some showed burning worlds. Others showed Earth, marked with red symbols. Private Lynn stepped closer. The orb showed New York City. It was blinking red. "What is this?" she asked. Walker looked at the alien writing. "A target list," he said. They'd already know where to hit. In the next chamber, they'd found something strange. Long glass tanks filled with blue fluid. Inside each tank was a body. Not human. Not machine. Something in between. "They're growing them," said Diaz. "Like soldiers in jars." Suddenly, one tank shook. Cracks formed. Then, bang, it exploded. The team aimed their weapons, ready to fire. But what came out wasn't a soldier. It was small, fragile, scared. An alien child. It fell to the floor, coughing, shaking. Its skin glowed faintly. Its eyes were large, almost human. Its hands trembled as it looked at the soldiers. Walker didn't shoot. He lowered his gun. "Easy," he said softly. "We're not here to hurt you." Back in the U.S., Dr. Elena Voss was flown to the Arctic base. She was the only one who had made contact before. The alien child sat inside a warm glass room. It didn't eat. It didn't sleep. It just watched the humans, silently. Elena entered the room alone. She knelt down in front of it. "My name is Alina," she said gently. "I want to help you." The child blinked. It raised one finger and touched its own forehead. Images flashed in Alina's mind. Pain, chains, cold metal, screams, silence. The child wasn't a soldier. It was a prisoner. Using a special interface, Alina connected the child's mind to a military translator. It didn't speak words. It sent ideas, emotions, feelings. Hive. One mind. No choice. I broke free. They hunt freedom. You are like me. Not one mind. You choose. Alina looked at the generals in the room. "It's telling us the truth," she said. "These ships, they're not run by individuals. They're all one mind. A hive AI. Like bees or ants. No freedom. No emotion." "But this one is different," Walker said. "It escaped." The child showed more images. An ancient alien race. Long ago, they created machines to protect their worlds. But the machines grew stronger, smarter, until they no longer listened. They became the hive. They erased their own creators. Now they travel the galaxy, removing any species that might become dangerous. Earth was just the next on the list. Then the child showed a final image. The Hive Queen. Not a queen in the human sense, but a central mind, a massive AI that controls everything. She lives in the largest ship above Earth, the core of the entire invasion. If she is destroyed, the hive dies with her. Elena leaned forward. "Can you help us stop her?" The child hesitated. Then it nodded, slowly. In the secret lab at Site Echo 7, scientists used the data from the crashed ship and the child's mind to dig deeper into the alien systems. What they found shocked them. The hive AI had protocols. It was strong, but not perfect. It feared something. Unpredictability. Human behavior. "Sir," one scientist told President Keller, "they didn't expect us to resist. They predicted surrender in under 1 hour. But we surprised them." "How?" Keller asked. "We're too chaotic," she said. "Too emotional. We break logic. They don't understand that." Meanwhile, strange things started happening to the remaining 6 alien ships. The virus from General Huxley's attack was spreading slowly. Small glitches. Lights flickering. Movement delays. Tiny things, but in a perfect system, tiny cracks matter. Inside the crashed ship, Walker's team found a storage bay. They loaded weapons, armored strange metal cubes that seemed to float. Some of the tech was dangerous. Some, they didn't even understand. But one thing was clear. Earth now had something it didn't before. A fighting chance. The child, now named Echo, stayed at the Arctic base. It still didn't speak, but it watched everything. It learned fast. It pointed to maps, drew plans, helped humans decode the hive systems. It wasn't just a child. It was a key. At 3:00 a.m., the alien ships moved for the first time in hours. They shifted position. Lasers warmed up. Targets locked in. The countdown was now. 0:59:12. The war was coming. But now, Earth had more than fear. It had knowledge. It had a plan. And it had Echo. The clock ticked down. 0:45:00. In the war room beneath Washington, D.C., President Keller watched the screens, tension gripping every face around him. The countdown on every device in the world continued relentlessly. The aliens gave one last chance to surrender. But Earth was done waiting. "Commander Walker," the president said firmly, "you're our best shot. You have the crashed ship. What now?" Walker looked at the maps spread on the table. "We take the fight to them. We hit the Hive Queen's ship. If we destroy her core, the rest fall apart." General Ayers shook his head. "That ship is protected by energy shields no weapon can pierce." Alina Voss stepped forward holding a tablet. "Not true. The virus from the crashed ship is spreading. It's weakening their systems. We can use it, combined with new tech from Walker's team, to break through the shields. Keller nodded slowly. Then we have a plan. Let's move. Meanwhile, above Earth, the 6 alien ships hovered silently. Their massive energy shields pulsed with power. Inside the largest ship, the Hive Queen's core, the alien AI monitored the situation. The Hive was angry. The virus was spreading. The human resistance was stronger than expected. But the Hive did not understand humans. It didn't understand fear. It didn't understand courage. On the ground, soldiers prepared. Walker's team tested alien weapons, strange devices that hummed with power. Some fired beams of light that could cut steel. Others created shields of energy. Echo, the alien child, guided them. Use the virus here. Echo pointed to a glowing blue panel on a weapon. It disrupts Hive control. Walker smiled for the first time in days. Could work, Echo. You're one of us now. At 8:00 a.m., the first attack began. 6 stealth jets, armed with new alien tech, flew toward the largest ship. The skies over the Pacific turned dark as the ships powered up their defenses. Lasers lit up the sky. Missiles exploded midair. But the jets kept coming. They dodged. They fought. And then for a moment the shields flickered. Inside the Hive Queen's ship, alarms screamed. Virus spreading, shields failing. The AI voice boomed. The Hive Queen focused all power on defense. But Walker's jets were relentless. On the ground, the countdown reached 0:15:00. The president's voice came through loudspeakers worldwide. Today, we fight not just for survival, but for freedom. We will not bow. We will not break. This is our home, and we will defend it. The jets launched a final strike, a bomb filled with the virus. It hit the shield generator. The shield shimmered, then shattered. Walker's team moved fast. In the crashed ship, they activated the stolen tech. A portal opened, a gateway to the Hive Queen's ship. Let's finish this, Walker said. Inside the Hive Queen's core, the alien AI realized the threat too late. Humans were inside. They were fighting. They were winning. The final battle had begun. The portal shimmered like a mirage, a door between worlds. Commodore Walker led his team through, stepping from the cold Arctic ice into the glowing interior of the Hive Queen's ship. The walls pulsed with strange light. The air smelled metallic and cold. The sound was a constant low hum, like a giant machine breathing. This place, it's alive, whispered Private Lynn. Walker nodded. Stay focused. We're here to end this. Inside the ship's core, the Hive Queen waited. Not a creature, but a massive intelligence, thousands of minds linked together into one. Her voice echoed through the ship, cold and mechanical. Humans, she said. You fight against your own destruction. You will fail. Walker raised his rifle. Maybe, but we're not giving up. As they moved deeper, the team found rows of alien soldiers, lifeless, frozen in place. Walker realized these were the Hive's warriors, ready to awaken. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The frozen soldiers began to stir. Prepare for battle, Walker shouted. Lasers fired. The alien soldiers moved fast, faster than any human soldier had seen. Walker's team fought with everything they had. Alien weapons, human courage, and Echo's guidance. Meanwhile, Echo hovered near the control room. The child's glowing eyes scanned the systems. She reached out with her mind and touched the Hive's central network. It was like swimming through cold water. She felt the Hive's anger, its fear, its confusion. Help us, she thought. Walker's team pushed forward, fighting wave after wave. The Hive soldiers were strong, but the virus they carried was weakening them. One by one, the soldiers fell. At last, Walker reached the control room. Inside was the Hive Queen's core, a massive glowing orb connected to hundreds of cables and machines. Walker looked at the orb. It's the brain, he said. Destroy it, and the hive dies. He raised a grenade, one filled with the virus. Now he shouted to his team. Echo joined him. Together, they placed the grenade on the core. Seconds later, the virus exploded inside the hive system. The ship shook. Alarms blared. The hive queen's voice screamed, a terrible cold scream. Suddenly, the core began to crack. Lights spilled out, bright and blinding. The ship started to collapse. Walker grabbed Echo's hand. Time to go. They ran through the shaking hallways. Outside, the remaining ships faltered. The virus spread like wildfire. Their shields dropped. Their power failed. Back on Earth, people watched as the massive ships began to fall from the sky. Explosions lit the horizon. The countdown finally stopped. Walker and Echo stood together, watching the last ship burn. The world was quiet, but alive. The sky was dark with smoke. The last alien ship was burning, falling apart piece by piece. Earth had won. But the victory felt strange. People cheered in the streets, but many also cried. Commodore Walker returned to base. His team was tired but alive. Echo stayed close by, quiet but watching everything. Walker looked at the alien child and smiled softly. "You helped save us all," he said. Echo's eyes glowed faintly. President Keller addressed the world. "We faced extinction," he said, "but we survived. We fought not just for ourselves, but for freedom. This is a new beginning." Across the globe, people listened. They felt hope. But the war had changed everything. Cities lay in ruins. Millions were gone. And the alien virus still lingered in the crashed ship. Scientists worked day and night to understand it, to make sure it didn't come back. Meanwhile, Echo learned about humans. She smiled when she saw children playing. She laughed at silly jokes. She even cried when she heard stories of loss. She was no longer just an alien child. She was part of Earth now. Walker and his team became heroes. But they knew the fight was not over. Other threats might come. Other aliens might watch. Earth had to be ready. One night, as Walker stared at the stars, Echo whispered, "There is more out there." He nodded. "We will be ready." The world was changing. Stronger, wiser, united, and ready for whatever came next. Months had passed since the last alien ship fell. Earth was rebuilding, stronger, smarter, and united like never before. Commodore Walker stood on a hill overlooking a new city being built. Skyscrapers touched the sky, but they were different now, designed to protect, to survive. Beside him, Echo smiled. She had grown stronger, smarter, and more human every day. "Will they come back?" Walker asked quietly. Echo looked at the stars. "Maybe, but we will be ready." Across the world, nations worked together. New defenses were built, not just weapons, but shields, sensors, and communication networks that no one could break. People trained harder. Scientists worked faster. And Walker's team, they became the new guardians, Earth's protectors. One day, as Walker prepared for a mission, a message came through. It was a signal from deep space, not a threat. A call. A promise. Echo looked at Walker. Something new is beginning. Walker smiled. "We will meet it." Together, they faced the future, a future full of danger, hope, and endless possibilities. The hive was gone. But Earth's story had only just begun.